So the message that came as I was meditating, yikes. Apartheid has done a lot of damage, okay? And for us to ignore it and pretend like it didn't exist, there is breeding hate. There is breeding hate for what the white man did. When I grew up, it's the thing for the men in the home to act as a fearful figure. Now, when my sister, who was living Imlazi at the time, so this is Durban, had left her mom and had come to stay with us, in order for all of us and for her to also get into like what they had deemed better schools, which were white schools at the time. I mean, no one in my home was to speak isiZulu. Do you understand that? No one in my home was to speak isiZulu. Okay. So I'm not blaming them for how I roll my R's and how my pronunciations are, but it does have an effect, right? In this effect, what happens is the black man has prepared, and when I mean man, the family, the black family has prepared themselves to allow the opportunity to go into these quote unquote better schools, which happened to be white schools back in the day. Now you park that, everything has been governed to be able to afford yourself the opportunity that the white man can have, right? To a certain extent. So when I'm speaking, please also just hear what I'm saying. Just really listen to this deeply because this is a very strong message. Then we circle back to future. Now, if we were obviously hanging around with a lot of white people, it just became like the norm as well, right? Amongst the friend groups that we would have. I dated a white guy. And I remember it was like so hidden at the time in my family. My dad found out. And then there was a recent discussion around that years ago. And he said to me, I wasn't happy with what you were doing with your life. And at the time, I also found out that you were dating a white man. I was not happy. I would never accept that in my family. Do you understand what apartheid has done? There is deep hate for the white man that has made us do the things that they've wanted us to do and have not taken full responsibility. Do you understand? And whether you weren't, as a white person, you weren't part of the apartheid during that era, your ancestors were, your grandparents were. So this is not a notion to now pretend like it doesn't affect us, because it affects us in these ways. You take away the language, you take away our language. Do you understand? Do you understand? Like, you take away our language and then connect us to English, which, let's be honest, can be a very confusing language. You know, we have synonyms. Everything means something different to everybody. In vernacular, we have tone. We speak with tone. We can say the same thing, but we speak with tone. So we understand the levels of tonage. And now we have lost that. We have lost the ability to connect to sound. I mean, you connect to people and they'll say Sawubona, but it's not Sawubona that we know anymore. It's not. It's just a hereby say, like, you know, when people are like, how you doing, but they don't care. It's become like that. So it's an invitation for us to observe what the past has done and how our past pain has informed our future decisions and our present decisions, and how often we mask, how often we've been told to mask and smile and pretend. I'm telling you now, there are so many people walking around with smiles on their face, but have deep hate. And it's all coming out now because we were told this is a rainbow nation. Just to give insight, you going to take the action that you need to take to be able to decide, how do I move forward with this? How do I heal this wound? How can I participate so that I'm not continuing this hate? Because you take away your language, you take away your ability to earn, you're breeding anger and so much hate and resentment that right now the country is bubbling up with so much resentment. And the corruption that is happening is because the way in which it was taken from black people or people of color, the resentment that is happening in the government too right now is just really real with the corruption, because you took away from my forefathers, I'm going to take, and at whatever cost. But now, at whatever cost, what does it help for the future generations moving forward? What are we going to do today to make the change, to take back our sense of identity, to redefine who we are as a people, not only as just black people, but just as people, and for us to start empathizing, empathizing for the man who had his freedom stripped away. The black family right now is dealing with freedom that was taken away. So what are you going to do, whether you're black or whether you're white? And I say this because we're all one, right? But because of separation and the realms and matrices that we live in, we are governed to be separate. And in that separation, we have taken from another. But now, what have you taken away? How are you going to make it right today? How are you going to rectify the wrong today and now? You know, it's an opportunity for everyone across board, because it was so surprising to, well, not really surprising, but it was so surprising for me to hear that in the way that I felt that anger, that don't you dare bring a white man into this family. So, guys, what are you going to do today? What are you going to do now that is going to allow you to make it better for the future ahead, for the generations to come? Because right now, the truth that's unraveling, what I'd like to add is, when you strip away our identity, you create such confusion. Abantu abamnyama, we have so much potential, and we fight against each other because of a lack of identity. Yes, these opportunities were afforded to us, but if you look now, it's to this point where, like, we weren't allowed to speak Zulu, like I said, right? And there was obviously a purpose. But in that, as you speak now, you would get made fun of. So then who wants to get made fun of when you're speaking your own language that you can't even speak fully, right? And then you look now at how many families, black families, are now just speaking English. You hear the kids, like you'll just hear kids like, shrink, 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 like, shrink, shrink. Like you turn around and it's a black kid. And then you see what has happened, what that damage has done to the family. The black family, and obviously a lot of families are, but from what I've related with this, the black family is like close to non-existent. And it's sad because now we've had to do things for the white man in order to be free, but we're living caged. And now you look at how families are broken. So I'll repeat, what are you going to do today to build a better future for the next generations to come? Because let me tell you what apartheid has also done. It has created competition amongst the family. I remember speaking to one person in a group, actually a group of people, and we were speaking about how, as Black people, we treat one another with such disrespect. You look at the till, go to any convenience store, and see how the different colors of our skin get treated by the tellers. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. When a Black person comes, the conversation continues as if you don't even exist, or you won't even be greeted. And this that has happened, we have been made to compete against one another, but it's only damaging us and our identities. And I remember saying the problem is with us Black people is we treat each other like we do our siblings. That's the problem. And you look at the home, the disrespect that is there because we've been made to compete against one another in order to get the freedom for it's bringing in an issue that happens to be racially charged, of course, because this is about our freedom too. So now we compete against one another, and it's not to say that this doesn't happen in all families. I'm just, like I said earlier, I'm speaking about what I'm speaking about. So please don't start adding what about. You see the competition, you see the witchcraft that has come into the families, and it's just like, why? Because now it's like you can have the opportunity I have. I got to take that opportunity. And the thing is, abundance is for everyone. There is so much abundance. But what it has done from apartheid, it is, and this is prior to apartheid, because we incorporate religion, then it's like you tickets, because you've conditioned a people to not be able to think for themselves, to not be able to really walk in the confidence of their identity. What I'm getting now is, remember that, well, I obviously don't remember the times of Ushaga, but like the movies, the way in which he depicted himself and his kingdom was with so much pride. And it's like without stripping from anyone else, any race, any culture, any age, any whatever. How do you bring back that divinity again? It's time. And these conversations are an opportunity to go, hold up. Actually, why am I in competition when we could all be succeeding? I said this once. Our families should be doing business together. We shouldn't be looking for jobs from the government. This is, what would someone say, an abomination. This should not be happening. We should be all successful. It is our birthright to be successful. To have abundance overflowing in your life. But if you don't condition your mind, so this is where like the work that I do comes in. If you do not calibrate your nervous system to that of safety, all you're going to be doing is thinking that you have to survive. So the next person, no matter what, you won't see them as human. You're just going to see them as an object of someone who is in the way of your survival. And then reconditioning the mind to understand all these things that our forefathers have gone through. We can't ignore them. It's a part of us. It's going to be part of us and the next generations to come. So don't think just because it doesn't affect you that it's not going to affect you. It's going to affect you in ways and in subtle ways that become gross. So when I mean gross, is it gross? I don't know, big, macro, on a macro scale. You got to think ahead. A lot of these good time things, yes, feel the good time, feel the good vibes, kumnandi, yes. But start taking responsibility. because this life is not only about you, even though it's through your reflection. Okay, so observe and observe, what am I going to do today to make my world a better place?